Welcome, traveler, to the Grand Block Layout Kingdom, GB for short. If you wish to enter through the Grand Gate, I will need to judge your jump abilities first. Please go ahead and perform them in the name of our Grand King, Grand Ol' Boomer. My, what a natural! You have greatly exceeded my expectations. I hereby grant you, worthy traveler, access to our grand kingdom located past the Grand Gate. May the gods guide your soul on your adventures, traveler.
I'm the janitor. I gotta clean up after everyone who fails to pass through that gate over there. Oh, it happens a lot, trust me. I'm glad you seem to know your jump heights well, at least.
Hello there, stranger. It is refreshing to see a new face in our modest town. Oh, the carts? Yes, they do indeed belong to me. I can move them out of the way for you if you can help me to solve this riddle. I need to deliver 4 boxes filled with potatoes to Cornelia and 3 boxes to Houston. If 4 boxes contain exactly 100 potatoes in total, how many potatoes does Jonathan receive? Ha! Good point. Hello there, stranger. Thank you, stranger. I will trust your unique methods of calculation. As promised, I will move my cards out of the way for you.
My boyfriend died in that hole over there. I told him about the rumors that spoke of the possibility of there being a spike trap not too far from here. So they put that caution sign there. He wanted to prove me wrong. It's all my fault.
I have invented a new method of transportation. Behold, the grand moving platform. Impressive, right? There are no strings attached. The king is going to reward me generously for my revolutionary invention. Why don't you test it out for me and give it a ride? Before I forget, make sure to not get too close to the edge of that wall over there. I've placed an invisible air mine. Oh no! You blew it up! My precious invention! Why didn't you listen to my warning and move?
I'm the guardian of the Goblin Beach. I'm sorry to inform you that entrance is currently prohibited due to ongoing renovations. Please return in a couple of days.
The goblins are attacking because of the renovations. Run for your life! I'm fine. I think I still have 2 left. I may have overreacted a little. The last time I saved was before I did the laundry. Damn those green naked men and their children. Also, just between you and me, I would keep my distance from that Welowas guy. One day I have seen him rubbing his body all over multiple house walls and even trees, while occasionally shouting out the first 3 letters of the alphabet in a random order. Not someone I would want to invite for a cup of cherry tea.
I can't wait for my potatoes to arrive. Look at my hair. It's green. I live here. Where do you live?
It's great to have this many save points around, but I'm concerned about the fact that the king still didn't bother to have his knights secure this place. There are still spikes and traps around every corner. That is not the case for the heart of the kingdom, but a little town is located next to the national border of the neighboring country known as the Crimson Empire. The king is known to despise the recently discovered enthusiasm for gimmicks. He says they're inventing them for an upcoming war, but I say they're harmless. I wish I could visit one of their many amusement parks to try and climb on top of the bouncy block tower. Isn't the woman allowed to dream?
A wonderful day today, ain't it, stranger? What? You're talking about Samantha, right? She's been crying on top of that hill for a couple of days now. Why won't her boyfriend just reset, you ask? You see, a few years ago, the knights of this kingdom were ordered to vaccinate the townsfolk. That vaccine decreased the reset amount from infinite to 10. 'Tis the reason you don't see any adventurers around these parts anymore. If you want to gain additional resets, you gotta buy some sort of pill that they've introduced. But no one here in this town could ever dream of affording one of those. Except for that weirdo of a scientist, I reckon. Anyway, back to Samantha. That savage boyfriend of hers was way too reckless, always getting himself in trouble. Jimmy was his name. Why did he risk his life to check for the trap? For Samantha's sake, of course. The girl isn't very good at judging her jump heights correctly, and she's recently run out of resets. She had to give up on her dream of becoming an adventurer. One day, Jimmy told me that he saw the knight who guards the entrance to the Goblin beach drop a few reset pills into that hole with the spike trap, laughing. Unfortunately, they weren't big enough to trigger the goddamn thing. He didn't want to lose Samantha to one of those deadly spikes that are all over our town. So he went to try and fake it out, knowing all too well that it was gonna be his final attempt at it. And because of his decision, in the end it was her who lost him. After I buried the boy, I wanted Samantha to keep the pills at least, since that's what he risked his life for in the first place. Turns out they were fake. Who ordered the knights to vaccinate us? The king, of course. There's nothing grand about that old fart. Not even anything human if you ask me. I lost my 14-year-old son because of that vaccine of his. I will take my eternal hatred towards him and his knights to the grave. Leaving already? Thanks for listening to an old man's rambling. Take care then, son. It's time to let go.
You just talked to Houston, right? Poor old man had to bury his own child. Be careful on your journey, stranger. At least you should be able to live a long and happy life.